AEW Dynamite starts off with well, it didn't actually start off with this. This happened like 20 minutes into the show, but the first 20 minutes of the show wasn't really that important. But we're gonna start off with the MGF promo. It basically starts off with him getting, cheap heel heat. Then he eventually starts mentioning a fundraiser he has for a child that's in desperate need of help. Then he ends up showing a Photoshop picture of Adam Cole. And then he ends up saying that this child, referring to Adam Cole, needs help, and that the way you can help him is by buying the pay-per-view to be able to see what I'm going to do to him at World's End, basically saying that he's going to put him out of his misery. Then you end up getting Adam Cole on the Titantron. He appears. He ends up, mentioning, finally getting his hands on MJF, mentioning the diamond ring, mentioning that he won't be able to get it since the match is for the diamond ring. He won't be able to get the ring before World's End, won't be able to use it in a match, and he's going to make sure he won't be able to do it. Then the little Titantron, it goes away, and then you see Adam Cole behind MJF. He attacks him for a bit, but MJF does eventually ends up escaping. This segment was fine. It was whatever. It was an alright segment. I'm just ready for this feud to end, which is unfortunate for two people who are as talented as MJF and Adam Cole. This feud should be a lot better, a lot more entertaining. But I'm just ready for whoever wins at World's End. Now, part of me feels like MJF is going to have to win this match, but for whatever reason, I feel like they're going to drag this feud out because I don't know what it is. Something tells me that if MJF wins at World's End, this is just going to make Adam Cole wants to fight him more for whatever reason. Because typically stories like this, you typically want the babyface to overcome the heel. But I feel like for this story, the heel, even though he's not really a heel in this particular story, MJF should be the one winning this feud, if we're being honest. So hopefully, however they do it, after World's End, the feud is over and we're good. The segment overall was fine. I did feel like it dragged a bit because the first 5 minutes of MJF's promo was just him getting cheap heel heat, which I don't mind as much because at least MJF actually got a good reaction from the crowd, but it did drag on a bit too long. But overall, it was an alright segment. I'm just ready for this feud to end to see how it plays out at World's End. After this, we end up getting Hook, Shibata versus Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. Solid match. Towards the end of the match, you end up getting interferences from Chris Sapien, if I'm not mistaken. Chris interferes in the match. Then you end up getting Christian Cage. He ends up attacking Shibata. Mama Wayne distracts the ref, which allowed Christian Cage to hit his finisher on Shibata, which then allows Nick Wayne to end up pinning Shibata. Overall, this is just a build towards... Actually, do they even have a match at World's End? I'm not even sure that... I'm assuming they're going to add this match on the card because I feel like you kind of have to. Yeah, I feel like it got enough build up. It got enough of a story. Yeah, I'm assuming this match will be on World's End. I feel like there's no other way. So I'm assuming this match is going to be on World's End. You're going to have Christian versus Hook. This allows them to have their match. And I think probably, which I would assume, Taz would probably get back into the picture since Christian attacked Taz, which is why this feud isn't even happening. Taz comes back in the match, helps Hook take down Christian Cage, and that's the end of the feud. I don't think this feud needs to drag on any longer than it needs to, because I don't know how you could drag this feud into another pay-per-view or into a couple more weeks. I don't think there's much story to tell after a certain point, because this story, it's alright, but you can't drag this story. I don't think you could drag the story for any longer. I think World's End is a good way to end it at World's End, and that's it. I don't think you could drag this out any longer than it really needs to be. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I'm assuming they're going to have a World's End match. I feel like that's the only thing they can do, because I don't know how you could drag this out any further. After this, though, we end up getting Ricochet. Man, this was just bad for Ricochet. Ricochet was getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone, but then the Hurt Business come out, or Hurt Syndicate. They come out, and Ricochet is in the ring with them, and he's basically I'm trying to think of the word. I'm just going to say, he's basically kissing their ass, basically. That's basically what he's doing. He's basically sucking up to them. Then you end up getting Bobby Lashley. He ends up choking Ricochet. And then MVP takes the card that he gave Ricochet and rips it, basically refunding the offer. And then he basically ends up telling him to leave. And then Ricochet just ends up leaving. And then afterwards, he ended up having a segment with Swerve, which made him look even worse because Swerve, I wouldn't say cooked him, but Swerve basically, I wouldn't say punked him, but basically he looked like a cuck in both segments. He looked like a cuck. He looked weak. He looked like a nerd getting bullied. This was just bad. And then he did this weird, awkward thing with Swerve where Swerve said something to him. I forgot exactly what he said. He said something to him, and then Ricochet's response wasn't that good, and he ended up doing this weird laugh. Man, it is bad for Ricochet and AEW. It is ridiculous. This is just it's just bad for Ricochet and AEW because, man, I don't know where Ricochet goes from here. Now, you could say they're telling the story of him eventually joining the Hurt Syndicate, but after the segment, bro, I don't think it's a good idea to put him in the Hurt Syndicate. He just doesn't fit. It's just bad, bro. Like, this is just not good. I am. Another thing with the Swerve segment, Swerve ended up saying something about Ricochet. It was something about him not being a winner or some sort. I forgot exactly what he said. But then Ricochet's comeback was something about him not winning the Continental Classic, which is not a good comeback because Swerve is AEW World Champion. What does Swerve care about a Continental Classic for? He was World Champ. What does he care about a Continental Classic? He was World Champ. Like, we can't be like, this is just bad. This is just bad. Now, I don't know if he's I ain't gonna lie. You could argue he's buried. You can make a good argument. This was him getting buried. Cause this is ridiculous. Like, and I'm not even a big fan of Ricochet, but man, the amount of hype, the amount of constant stuff that we heard about Ricochet, especially WWE fans who was crying that he left. I was like, it's not that big of a deal, but this is crazy. I don't know what you do with Ricochet after this because he doesn't have the Will Ospreay match anymore. I was saying you could put him in Hurt Syndicate. Now they could still do that with him eventually being more ruthless and aggressive, but I don't see that at all. And then his comments about him, the reason why he's the reason why AEW exists. It's like, it's just getting worse with Ricochet. Maybe I'm wrong, but this segment made Ricochet just look completely weak, made him look soft, and I just don't see how he can recover from this. But maybe I'm wrong. After this, though, they end up sending Ricochet to backstage, they end up this led to Shelton and Beast Mortals having their match for the Continental Classic. Shelton, of course, won. Then they attacked Beast Mortals. This led to Daniel Garcia coming out, which I don't really understand why, unless him and Beast Mortals have some type of history that I don't know about. Maybe they do, but I don't know if they have any history. But Daniel Garcia comes out. He was about to fight all three of them. Then you get Mark Briscoe. He comes out to help. But they easily get taken out. And then you end up getting Shelton Benjamin holding the TNT title above above Daniel Garcia's head. That's actually very interesting. Now, it would be, well, I wouldn't say disappointing, well, kind of, that Daniel Garcia just won that title, and it would be very lackluster, I guess, to a degree, that Shelton will be the one to take it from that quickly. Now, it's not going to happen at World 10. I think they're going to build this up for a bit longer. But I actually wouldn't be mad at it because you could argue Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia should have been won a championship in AEW due to his popularity, especially when he was the most over. But Shelton winning the TNT championship would actually be nice and actually would be very interesting. So I'm not really mad at it, to be honest. So I'm interested to see where that storyline goes. Afterwards, we end up getting Toni Storm. She ends up having an interview segment with RJ City. Basically throughout the entire interview, RJ City is trying to interview her like he would, Toni Storm's supposed to get interviewed, mentioning her history and all that. But Toni Storm is basically pretending like she doesn't remember anything. She basically lost her memory. She's acting like she's a brand new signee to AEW, which I think the story is good. I think it's good. I think it doesn't make logical sense at all, but it's actually executed very well due to who Toni Storm is, and it fits her character and the type of person she is. The only thing I will say that doesn't make a bit of sense is really her returning against Mariah May. That part didn't make sense. I would say that was the only thing I have a issue with, is that she shouldn't have returned against Mariah May. I get why, but that didn't make sense. But overall, the story is interesting. I'm just interested to see how they build towards Mariah May, because we know the end goal is Mariah May. I'm just interested to see how that feud would actually happen with Toni Storm not remembering anything. Is she going to eventually remember, or is she just going to play this character off for a long time and then she just going to act like she never met Mariah May for the entirety of the rest of their feud. So I'm interested in the story. I think it played really well if booked right, but I'm loving her being this new signee, having no memory of her AEW history at all. Afterwards, we end up getting Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay for the Continental Classic match. I think they both have 6 points, if I'm not mistaken. This match was really good. Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, of course. The ending shocked me. I did not expect Darby Allin to pick up the victory. I really did not. It's shocking that they have Will Ospreay lose. I'm very surprised by that. It looks like they're rebuilding Darby Allin. Darby Allin picked up a huge victory over Will Ospreay, and he has another Continental Classic match against Claudio on Saturday. So I'm assuming he's going to get his payback and get his revenge on Claudio, which eventually will lead to him fighting the Death Riders and eventually leading to him fighting Jon Moxley eventually, because his business isn't over with the Death Riders. And after the Continental Classic, Will Ospreay did say he will help Darby Allin. So it does look like that they're going to build up Darby Allin. He's going to probably be the next challenger for Jon Moxley, I'm assuming, because I don't know how you could stretch out the Jay White Hangman stuff with Orange Cassidy. You could be able to stretch it out for like another month maybe, but eventually Darby Allin will probably be the one to fight Jon Moxley, and then we'll see how this story plays out. But I'm very shocked that they actually gave Darby the win, though. Then we end up getting the main event. Mox, Pac, Yuta versus Orange, Hangman, and Jay White. This match played out exactly how I thought it would. The Death Riders, I was about to call them something else. The Death Riders ends up picking up the victory via a roll-up pin, with Jon Moxley pinning Orange Cassidy due to Hangman and Jay White arguing in the midst of it. Yeah, this match, the Fatal 4-Way match, should be good. I don't really care about it that much because I know who's going to win. Plus, I kind of feel like I know how it's going to play out. Yeah, this is the Fatal 4-Way match is probably going to play out similar to how the tag match. Basically, all three of the opponents for Jon Moxley are going to cancel each other out for the most part. It's going to be something where Jay White, Hangman, whatever, they're going to be too busy focused on each other, which is going to allow Jon Moxley to take advantage. Plus, with the help of Claudio, Pac, Yuta, and Mina Shafir, it's basically a 5v3, especially with them going after each other instead of them working together to fight Jon Moxley. This is going to be not that hard of a fight for Jon Moxley to retain his AEW championship. Overall, Dynamite, it was an okay episode. It wasn't bad, I would say. It was an okay episode. So overall, you guys let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.